Hello guys, and welcome back to another one of my video. In today's video, yes, as you're from the title, we're gonna do a beginner Civ tier list. Who doesn't love a good tier list? And it's been ages since I make one in my channel. I think it's 7 months since the last tier list I've made. So before the drop of the DLC, I should probably make another beginner Civ tier list. So without further ado, let's start with the video. So guys, we're gonna work ourselves from what is the easiest Civ tier list, which is gonna be the bottom section, and what is the hardest Civ tier list, which is gonna be a high up in the top. So S is gonna be like very hard, but the more we're going down, the easiest is gonna be the easiest to adjust, and I will try to be as fair as possible, based of course on my level and on my knowledge. I am, for those that they don't know me, I'm Frost Legend. I'm playing Age of Empires for like I think 3-4 years now. I've been learning RTS through Age of Empires 4. I have no idea before what was RTS, and I will make this tier list based of course on what I know and what's the information I've been gathering from my own experience for all this time I've been playing the game. I'm a Platinum Elo player. Try to reach diamond. I'm very close to that, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. There is a lot of things that needs to be improved, but I think I can definitely make a tier list based on my experience, and hopefully it's gonna be accurate. And if you guys don't agree with me, or if you have something else, we can of course discuss this down in the comment below section. So if you have a different opinion, let me know and I will respond. I read all your comments. So we're gonna start our tier list by, I think, the easiest, and we're gonna move up to the hardest. So this easiest civilization, it's Order of the Dragon. We're gonna start by Order of the Dragon because I think right now it's actually standing basically for the easiest Civ tier list. It's very straightforward civilization. Your units are busted. You're doing less, but you have more. I think you still need to be good to managing your units, because your units are so expensive. You can't take the risk of losing them. But if you learn the fundamentals, I think a very bad player can look very good with the civilization on its hand. That's why you're stomping people if you're like play on low leagues with the civilization, because they don't know the value of your units. They don't know how good your units can be sometimes. So this is really the reason why most likely I place this on the very easiest section. And we're gonna follow by of course we're gonna follow by Lancaster. There is no Lancaster flag here, which is weird. So I have to quickly make some adjustment because there was no flags for all the civs that I was looking for, so I can make the tier list. So now we find it. So we're gonna move forward with our tier list, and we're gonna, like, as you can see, we have actually another section here. So it's kind of we have at the E sections instead of like it's a D and then it's E. So I think I'm gonna do it that way. So I'm gonna place Lancaster here and Order of the Dragon there. The reason behind that is Lancaster are really straightforward. Once you get those manors going on, I think it's actually easier than Order of the Dragon, because Order of the Dragon, in a way, you have the responsibility of keeping your units safe. It is very hard civilization in that term. If you're losing your units here and there, it's so expensive, you really need to cover. But Lancaster, once you get those manors up, they're kind of like they're working on autopilot. They have a very cheap horses, hobblers, the highest speed probably horses in the game right now. They have the build with lords, so I think it's pretty easy civilization to play. Not much going on. You're setting up your manors and you're good to go. You have a nice economy, and yeah, everything is just rolling. So I'm just gonna try to make this tier list not a really huge video. I'm just gonna try to have it this like as short as possible. So we're not gonna talk a lot about what each civilization does. We're just gonna most likely place them and like give a little bit of a reason why. So we're gonna move with our Holy Roman Empire, and I think Holy Roman Empire, it's on the C tier list. For the reason being is you do have the prelates to control as with Order of the Dragon, but But it's kind of like more of a necessity here because you need to buff your villagers to give the 40% buff. Well, when you play under the dragons, your villagers have higher value, but they're already automatically doing that. You don't need to aspire, you don't need to macro prelate back and forth. You don't have to do that. I mean, later on in the games with Order of the Dragon, yes, you do need, because there's a beautiful buff that you give armor to your units. But overall, when you start the game, you immediately have a lot more things to do with Holy Roman Empire than the Order of the Dragon. So I think that's why I place them in these different categories. So we're gonna go now to English. I'm gonna place English same as in Lancaster. I think once you get this idea of like farm transition, they're really straightforward civilization. You just have to build the farms, you have to do everything. That's why it's considered one of the most easiest civilization. I think they're a little bit harder than Lancaster though. That reason being, Lancaster already starts with another keep when they are in feudal age, so it's even more beginner friendly in a way. And the farm transition is something that you consistently have to keep in mind, and I think for that reason, I think maybe English is a little bit harder than I think I might place them in the D actually, because I think really like Lancaster deserve their own category because they're so easy. So I think I'm gonna keep the English in this section. And the upper, remember, the upper we go, the harder it becomes. So yeah. So we're gonna now go to France. Let's go to the France. I definitely think after my experience, I will put them on B. After my experience with the Women at Arms series and the fact that I've been playing Joan of Arc for so long time, French is very similar to Joan of Arc, and they do have this little heart kind of thing that you kind of have to build your stables in the correct way so you can put the keep and, you know, start reducing the cost of your units. But I don't agree with people that this is a beginner civilization. Controlling knights and macro at the same time is a high responsibility, especially when you have to do professional scout. There is just so much more multitasking than sitting on your base with this or this and just building your farms. These civilizations, they are very macro intensive. All of this, that they are very cavalry based. I don't consider they're beginner friendly to me. I will never say to some person that just started the game, play French. They are not so straightforward as people think. Their economy might be, the villager production bonus it might be. Actually, it's even worse because you have to deal with more villagers, because the faster the 10-center spring villager, the harder it is for a new player to control because there's just much more things to do. So that's why I really consider France not to be the easiest choice. I will keep them for B for now. And of course, I think Joan of Arc is, to be honest, between S and A. I've been playing the Civilization, and after I've been playing also Byzantines, I do think, and I really consider Joan of Arc be even harder. Like, I will even skip A because I think Joan of Arc is that hard. Controlling your economy, doing well against so many different castle rush civilizations, having the unit to concentrate on the buildings. Keep in mind to stay with Joan of Arc, to stay alive. Macro management Joan of Arc so she can get experience but not die in the battle. You have seen my Women at Arms series. If you've been following my channel, you've been seeing the struggle. I cannot tell you how hard the civilization is. And yes, you might say, oh, one unit, and that's the difference between France and Joan of Arc. Yes, that one unit makes such a big of a difference in my level and in my knowledge, because I've been playing also Byzantines, and I can tell you Byzantines are not that hard once you get to know the military production and all that, and the mercenary house, setting up your cisterns. They just working on an autopilot. It's not that hard as Joan of Arc is. Joan of Arc is much more challenging because you just need to do much more. Your eyes needs to be all over the map. And with Byzantines, it's basically the same scenario like this, but they have a lot of city planning. So because they have the city planning, I will definitely put them in an A tier list. Might also put them here. I'm not entirely sure. Could be possibly B. For a new player though, no, I'm very new player, totally new player. I will definitely keep it there. Let's go with why we should try. Well, let's clear that out of the way. I don't know about Knights Templar. I've been experimenting with them a little bit, and I've been trying to find and see what they're going on. I don't think they're that hard to play, honestly, mechanically, but they have such a many unique units. So I will definitely think. And for the fact that you have the pilgrims, you need to protect them. You need to start building keeps. I've definitely pulled them. Like I'm between B and A tier and A tier. Like let's put them here for now. I don't think they're that hard as the Byzantines when it comes to city planning and all that. They don't have so much city planning. They do have those keeps and they need to, start building and spreading in the map, which is counted by the way as landmark. But I don't think they're so hard as the Byzantines. The thing what makes them hard is maybe that they have so many unique units that you just need to sit down and learn them. So according to that, yes, they might be very challenging for a new player, but not so hard in general to play. Once you start learning them, they're just very straightforward, honestly. So let's go to the Mongols. Definitely an S tier list. It's another cavalry civilization that you need to pay attention on your macro. And now you're gonna tell me, but with all the civilization, you can go build knights and start horses. Yes, but those are the ones that they benefit the most. It's the French, it's the Joan of Arc, and it's the Mongols. And then of course, if you start spamming with any kind of civilization, then of course it's getting harder and you need to pay attention on your macro. But for Mongols, as I was saying, I think it's just so hard to manipulate the buildings to like, because they're moving, to build them in the right position, not to start far behind in villager, because when you start the game, you already start with packed town center. So all the other civilizations can start making villages from the get-go. You don't have this ability. You need to actually unpack your town center, place it in a very advantageous position, and that's why it's also very good, but also very challenging. And then of course, be very active with your Kashyyyks or Makudais, burning buildings down so you can earn gold from your passive as Mongols. So they have a lot of tricks to unpack it, and not to mention it's the only civilization in the game that is not building keeps or walls, and for that you really need to be aware and protecting yourself very well. It's like very high risk, high reward civilization. If you like very aggression, it's very good to go, but I don't think I will ever suggest it for a beginner player. I don't think this civilization is something a beginner should ever touch. And yeah, let's go to Malians. Definitely an S tier civilization. I don't know if it's like the same as the Byzantines when it comes to difficulty. Could be probably like this because it's a Ras Castle civilization, but I think this whole cow booming thing, it's just too much macro for a beginner player. It's too many things that it's so unique for the civilization. So I wouldn't suggest this to a beginner civilization. I wouldn't say it's a beginner friendly civilization. I think it's hard because it has all the city plannings as Byzantines have. Now, is it harder than Byzantines? I really don't know, actually. I think they're both in the same level category. And we're gonna put, of course, another civilization there. China. China is the civilization that for a beginner player has a lot unique things going on for them. They have the imperial officers that they have to pay attention. They have this dynasty bonuses. They have 2 landmark instead of 1 if they want to go to the castle, to the next age, no matter what age is it. I was about to say castle, but no matter what age is it, they still have to build 2. And there are unique bonuses for economical things, and also they have unique siege engines that you need to know how to control. A lot of challenging things for a new player. So I will definitely place China on the S tier. Not so much macro intensive from the get-go as the Mongols and Joan of Arc. So that's why I wouldn't put that. So if you in the long term, if you decide, yes, I want to play China, you can. It's not going to be so demanding macro-wise as the Mongols, but it's not an easy civilization macro-wise in any way. So I will place them there for now. One thing I forget is Japanese. Well, surprisingly, I think Japanese is very close to, I might put them here. Is the easiest from Holy Roman Empire? Yeah, I think it's easiest than Holy Roman Empire. And the reason why they're easiest is because once you get to the next stage, you don't even need to build farms. You don't need to go chapel as HRE and start building your farm transition. Your farms is spawning on their own. You're just going for the storehouse and you're good to go. Your farm's spawning automatically. You're building houses and you have mills. You're building mining camps and you have blacksmiths. So you think much less and you have much more. So I definitely hate Japanese and I will definitely place them there. It's just, if you want to start play a unique, complicated civilization, but at the same time keep it simple, Japanese is for you. They have a lot of tricks in their packets, but they're also approachable, easy, and at the same time unique. I think they're doing so many good things. They're the divas of Age of Empires lately, honestly. So yeah, I really like them, and I will place them in the C tier list. I don't think they're that hard, but it's definitely challenging if you don't know if you have any clue about RTSs, and if you have no clue about what units are, how they should be playing, and if you haven't played even the Art of War, you know what I mean. So we're talking about scratch beginners tier list here. So yes, I will place Japanese there definitely. So Zishu Legacy, not a big of a difference. It's the same as China. I will for a new beginner, for a beginner player, I don't think it does matter at all. They will find the same units, the same theory, 2 landmarks to aging up, all the things. They're broken as absolutely broken. I don't even know if they're more broken, but this is not a C tier list for like who is most broken. Is a beginner C tier list. So definitely hard civilization, unique religious unit. The only religious units in the game that they can strike back. Very annoying civilization is a variety civilization. Of course, guys, there is varieties and original civilization this tier list. Of course, now we're gonna the new DLC that's gonna come on November. Right now it's October 24th. That I don't know when you're gonna see the video, but that's when I recorded. So for now, at least, I definitely think Zishu is one of the most broken civilizations. They're just unbalanced. They just can't do everything in the perfection. But that's not, again, a tier list for how good is a civilization or how bad. It's just how hard it is for a beginner, and it's not an easy civilization to play if you start right now. So let's go to the Ottoman Empire. Definitely not an easy civilization. Is it harder than all those, or is it literally in the same category? Are the Byzantines harder from China though? Are the Byzantines? I think because of the cistern and the connection and all this thing that they have, a beginner player will struggle with that, with this construction thing that they have with the cistern and the aqueducts. I think based on that, I think they're getting the highest tier list for all those when it comes to difficulty. But I think also Ottomans is just there because they have the military schools. They have to build them accordingly. Those civilizations that you see, guys, here, except maybe Zishu Legacy, they are very city planning dependent. Maybe also the Legacy, because they do also have this granary thing that they're going with their farms. So if you like city building and you're a beginner, definitely those are some choices you can consider for more further in the game. But if you start also, Manors can give you a very simple strategy for, god damn it, on my phone, sorry guys. It can give you also very simple city planning strategies with English, HRE, and House of Lancaster. You will get that feeling of city planning, but they are much more approachable. If you want something more advanced, I will definitely go with one of those civilizations. They do have more choices when it comes to city planning, but maybe it's too many more choices for a beginner player to deal with. So I was talking about Ottomans. I want to go back a little bit on that. Ottomans have the military school that they have to place around blacksmiths, because they will have these free units, but they can reduce them. And now it sounds easy. Oh, they have free units. Yes, they have free units, but it doesn't come with a cost. You need the city planning. You need to protect. You need to be cautious where you overextend with the Ottomans. They're not easy civilization to play. It's not like in Age of Empires 3 that you think, oh, Ottomans is the best civilization, the most easy. No, it's not Age of Empires 4. We don't have this. Ottomans, it's a hard civilization to play. In Age of Empires 4, it's not an easy civilization. And it's actually one of the most beautiful civilization, in my opinion, in the game. It is close to what Byzantines are offering and Malians. They have this gorgeous city planning, nice sounds commands, vizier points. They're really good. They're really good. Also China and Zishu. All of these are so unique when it comes to buildings. You're gonna like them. If you're a beginner and you like city planning, I will definitely suggest you something on that. If you're a very aggressive person, go here. But I'm telling you, it's not an easy civilization. You can see the tier list here. So the down you go, the most approachable gonna be for you. So let's keep with our tier list. So we're gonna go with Abbasid dynasty. So this is it's weird because it's a booming civilization, but it's more straightforward than other civilization. It does have unique unit, but it doesn't demand so much city planning. I mean, it does have city planning, but it's most like you're playing Sims. It's not so. It's actually the easiest city planning of all city planning civilization. I'm be flirting with this position. They're not easiest than French, because French has the macro, and I value macro more than macro, and especially when it comes to put together those two things, because French is all about Pay your attention on your economy, but at the same time, do macro attacking, be active. This is not an easy thing to do. If you're a beginner, you're not going to find that easy. But the Abbasids have a lot of things going on economically. They do have the city planning, but they are also, they have all double TC, triple TC sometimes. And there's a lot for a beginner going on to Manat. So, are they harder from Knights Templar? I don't think so. Yeah, they are. No, Knights Templar is not that hard at the end. Once you get to know their units, I don't think they're even hard to play. Like, they're very straightforward. Okay, you do have those pilgrims, but are they actually hard? I don't think so. I think Abbasid Dynasty is much harder than the civilization, because if you have like 3 town centers to control, because you're going with and they have the House of Wisdom, which is they're very unique, and then it's a lot of things to deal with. And of course, then we have the Ayyubids, which is basically the variety of the Abbasid dynasty. That I don't know. They're so different from the Abbasid dynasty because they're very castle civilization dependent. I don't know where should I place those civilizations, but they have the Kamas, and they have the dervishes that you need to macro. That's what I'm consider being hard. They're a little bit more aggressive. Am I gonna get punished for this tier list? I don't know. That's how I feel. Are they harder from all those? I don't think so, by any means. I don't think so. The complication those civilizations have compared to our Abbasid dynasty and our Ayyubids is not. Or this one. And I'm telling you, probably this is the right thing to do so. You're gonna tell me, are you putting Joan of Arc so high because you're... No, it's actually one of the hardest civilizations. You guys, I'm not even joking to you. This hero is... It's so risky if it gets skill. And it's just such a pain in your economy, and you like it is for a new player to control the hero and at the same time harassing and at the same time pay attention to your economy, switching resources, because you're gonna eventually run out of resources. When in these civilizations, you're kind of establishing your economy. You don't need to be so spread out in the map, because anything that is, let me put it that way, anything that is more campy, more turtley, more safe, more into your base, stay there and, you know, cooking stuff, rise your economy and all that, I think it's more easier for a beginner player. Anything that is so macro intensive, it's harder for a beginner. I really think that. I strongly believe that. I strongly believe that. So let's go with Delhi. Well, guys, I will put Delhi up there. And it's not because they have any city planning, but it's exactly what I say before. This is like, if you're gonna go full Ghazi, full feudal, full aggression, control your economy, and at the same time building towers on your it's a lot of things to do. Taking your upgrades, building mosques, take your secret sites, walling the secret sites, attacking, defending. It's just a chaos going on. I definitely think Delhi, it's is it harder than Joan of Arc? Once you get to your build and the economy started rolling, I think it's actually easier than Joan of Arc. But I don't think it's easy civilization. Any of those is not easy civilization, you guys. Once you go up from the C tier list, I think anything above that is just hard. It's just hard. But I think Delhi is an S tier because they have so much going on. Once they stepping into feudal, the clicks you need to do, the things you need to do to get ready to start your free upgrades rolling, it's just too much for a new player to deal with. I will definitely not placing Delhi any further down. I just think it's just tippity top. Like, it's so hard. So the last civilization is Rus for some weird reason. I just really randomly just got that. And Rus, they do have this bounty. They do have horse archers, but do they have something going on very, very special, very unique that makes them so hard to play as a new player? No, they're another castle rush civilization that really benefits from farm transition in the later games goes on. Yes, they do have to go for the deers in the early but eventually they're gonna go for farms, and they have a passive gold income from their hunting campings. I don't think they're hard to play, honestly. This is where I think Rus is gonna be like, because I mean, you do have the double scout, but it's not nowadays. It doesn't really, you're not really get benefit from that. You're gonna go for professional scouts, and then maybe it's a little bit harder than this, and this could be. Yeah, I think I like that one more. yeah, I think it is still it's playable. You do have the nuts, but you're not usually spamming nuts as friends, and you don't need to be so instantly macro depending. I do think this is where Rus I will place them in the C tier list, and that's actually my tier list, guys, for beginners. This is what I think strongly, in my opinion, and what I've experienced and what I've seen. This is exactly how I picture the beginner tier list. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's going to be a really short one. And if you disagree with me, just say that down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye, guys.